I was supposed to be away for 3 more days, tied up in a business trip I hadn't wanted in the first place. Work had been relentless lately, the pressure mounting and bleeding into my already fragile marriage. Things between Lisa and me had been strained for a while, like a rope fraying under tension. I longed to return to her, to somehow use the time together to patch the widening cracks in our relationship. Despite the tension, I still believed we could fix what was broken. Then, unexpectedly, an opportunity came my way, a flight deal that would get me home a day earlier than planned. I seized it without hesitation, hoping that my surprise arrival might reignite something we had lost. Maybe seeing me when she wasn't expecting it would bring back a piece of what we used to be. I imagined walking in, seeing her face light up. I rehearsed what I'd say, how I'd tell her I missed her more than words could capture. But as soon as I stepped out of the airport and into a cab, something gnawed at me. That strange sense you can't quite explain. By the time I reached our building, it had grown stronger. The hallway was too quiet. There was a faint scent in the air, cigarette smoke. Lisa despised cigarettes. That alone sent a warning through me. Then I heard it voices. Low, muffled, intimate. Coming from inside our apartment. My heart began to pound. I froze at the door, my hands buried in my coat pockets, trying to calm the storm inside me. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe it was nothing. Still, instinct overrode reason. I slowly turned the doorknob and stepped inside. The living room was dim, untouched, and still. But there, thrown casually across the couch, was a jacket I didn't recognize. My stomach dropped. Then the voices became clearer. Laughter, whispered words. There was a softness to them, a closeness that only lovers share. I walked, silent as a shadow, down the hallway. The bedroom door wasn't fully closed. It hung open just enough to reveal the truth I hadn't wanted to face. Inside, bathed in the soft amber light, was Lisa, my wife. Her body wrapped around another man's. They weren't just talking. They weren't sitting close. They were kissing, touching, lost in each other like no one else existed. Time stopped. I couldn't move. The scene before me didn't feel real. It was as if I'd stumbled into someone else's nightmare. Then the numbness gave way to something sharper, a rush of anger so cold it burned. The man saw me first. His eyes went wide as panic set in. He tried to leap toward the window, but I was faster. Without thinking, I lunged forward, grabbed his arm, and yanked him back into the room. He struggled wildly, but I held on. Rage gave me strength. Years of trust, of love, of sacrifice, all crumbling in an instant. And there she stood, Lisa, her face drained of color, eyes wide with shock. She reached out to me like she could undo what I had seen. I stepped back, avoiding her touch. My voice came out steady, eerily calm. Who is he? She opened her mouth, but nothing coherent came out. Just rushed, desperate words. It's not what it looks like. We're just friends. That word, friends, was a dagger. I laughed bitterly. Friends don't lie together in a shared bed. Friends don't look at each other the way she had just looked at him. Tears welled in her eyes as she tried again. Please listen to me. I made a mistake. I didn't mean for this to happen. I'm sorry. I shook my head. Her apologies felt empty now. Meaningless. I love you, she whispered, stepping closer. I don't want to lose you. But I had heard enough. I pulled out my phone and dialed. 911. What's your emergency? I need an officer. I caught my wife in bed with another man in our home. Lisa gasped, horrified, as if my call was the betrayal. The man froze. The panic that had filled his face earlier turned into dread. He no longer resisted. The minutes stretched painfully as we waited. The silence was thick, oppressive. Lisa sat on the edge of the bed, staring down at the floor, while I remained standing, clutching my phone like a lifeline. My mind raced through every memory, every red flag I'd ignored. The late nights, the vague explanations, the girls' nights out that no longer seemed innocent. And all the while, I had trusted her, loved her completely. Even when doubt whispered in my ear, I had silenced it for the sake of believing in us. When the police finally arrived, the truth was unavoidable. They documented everything, took our statements, snapped photos, asked questions. The man was cited for trespassing. Lisa had no defense left. Her excuses dried up. There were no more tears, no more fabricated stories. Just silence. Once they were gone, I sat down on the living room couch. The room around me looked the same, but it no longer felt like home. It felt like a trap, a memory of something that had died. I realized then that I needed to protect myself. If divorce was where this was headed, and it likely was, I needed undeniable evidence. Proof that what happened wasn't some imagined paranoia. That night, I couldn't sleep. I stayed up thinking of every moment I'd missed the signs, every lie I had swallowed with blind hope. The betrayal had been there for a long time. I just hadn't wanted to see it. By morning, something in me had shifted. The pain was still raw, but there was clarity now. I knew I deserved more than this. I deserved loyalty, truth, love without betrayal. And with that realization, I let go of the man I had been, the one who had accepted every half-truth, every broken promise. I became someone else, someone stronger, someone who knew his worth. Because the worst betrayals don't just break your heart. They reveal who you truly are. Trust your instincts, and never silence your truth.